Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this year's Cell Bowl. We are in season 2, and we are so excited to share all of the great gameplay and information this year that are going to be covering abnormal cells instead of normal cells like last year. And joining me again is Mr. Aaron Odegaard, the amazing, wonderful co-host of Cell Bowl. Aaron, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. We're in season 2. It's crazy. I'm ready to start dipping and to get into the action, the left and right shifts and all the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
So Aaron's been doing some amazing work with getting us some more co-hosts to come on, and we will see some familiar faces come back and some new friends come on the show. So we are very excited to see where this is going to take us and get to talk about some information that builds on last year's actually. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about is how big and different this is going to be. We're bigger and better this season because we have sponsorship with ASCP. They are our premier sponsor for the Cell Bowl. So we now have webpage real estate on their website dedicated to the Cell Bowl. So thank you so much, ASCP. And we also have some birthdays. So ASCP turned what, Aaron? It was it was our centennial birthday, right? ASCP. And then medical lab lady girl turned 5 this past summer. So it's really yeah,
So big.
a whole hand. So we've got some great partnerships happening and collaborations happening this year. CellAVision has also come on and is sponsoring some gifts. It's a surprise. Don't tell anybody. We'll see them throughout the season. And they're also working on updating the app, and we can't tell you about it, but yeah, that's a secret too, but great things are coming your way. So let's go ahead and get into this year's Cell Bowl. So just for the viewers that are coming for the first time ever, what the Cell Bowl is an NFL style hematology competition where students are working each week to try to identify as many as up to 30 hematology cells in 1 minute, also 60 seconds. And what we have done this year is to better align our scorekeeping. I've done some math and I put together a calculating spreadsheet where all of the scores are turned into times. So even if a student who was the MVP of the team and whose score was used for the team that week, their score, even though it wasn't 30 cells, will still be turned into a time. Mathematically, it is standardized and is very equitable, so everybody's on an even playing field, and that's how we're going to present scores this year. So the students are going to identify at the most 30 hematology cells in 1 minute or less. And if they are the highest scoring, team at an average within the first 4 weeks, then those regional teams will move to nationals. So weeks 1 through 4, we have divided the country up into 3 regions. We've got the East, the West, and the Midwest. And for the first 4 weeks, they're going to play against their own region. And then the top 2 from each of the regions are going to go to the playoffs, which are the national events. And that's week 5. So the top 3 out of week 5 will move into week 6, which are the semifinals. And then the top 2 of the semifinals are going to move into what, Aaron?
Super Sun.
The Super Cell Bowl. So those will be the top two programs in the nation, and we will see who the winner will be and who the challenger is that put the pressure on them. Okay, so I am so excited to get to that point. We have teams that are in the competition ourselves. So we will absolutely be rooting for everybody and our teams. And hopefully, we will be making it to the playoffs because we're the hosts of the show. But we hope you all can make it with us too. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our show presentation. So this year, I would like to go through before we get started and thank some very big key players within the Cell Bowl itself. So we have a Cell Bowl working group that is composed of ASCP members who some are on the Council of Laboratory Professionals Committee and others are volunteers. So I would like to just say thank you to number one, Mr. Aaron Odegaard. Yay. And we have Alfonso Ortiz, and you'll see him as a co-host this year, a guest. Christian Lozano, Dr. Christian Lozano, who just got his DCLS. Congratulations, Dr. Lozano. And he was also 40 under 40 this year with myself. And he was top 5 as well with me. Ms. Dana Powell Baker. And so she was the chair of the CLP committee, and now she's the immediate past chair. We've got a lot of leadership changes because that's how committees work. So we're not going to go through all those, but a lot of the ladies coming up are going to be the chair. Eric, can you explain that?
Yeah, so a lot of the people are volunteers are either past chairs of the Council of Laboratory Professionals or the incoming chairs. So our next couple of people are going to be the current chair and CLP members like Laura Sievers and Melody Nelson. Michelle Campbell is our current chair of the Council of Laboratory Professionals, and Stephanie Whitehead, who you're going to really get to know, she's the incoming chair. So there's always one incoming, one chair, and one outgoing. But these are all very dynamic volunteers, and like Alfonso, he's on a committee, but he's an active, excited AACP member who wants to help. So we're very lucky to have him.
We are, and he was one of our guests from the bench last year. It was so much fun, and he's from Texas as well as Stephanie Whitehead, and we got to meet him and get to know him really well. So we're so happy to have him back. Stephanie was also 40 under 40 with Christian and I this year. So congratulations to her as well. So honored to have you all in the same class. It was wonderful. We also would like to thank the ASCP staff and creative team. I would like to thank my wonderful, dynamic, and amazing, stellar co-host, Mr. Aaron Odegaard. Hopefully this ship will keep on sailing into the future for as long as we want it to. I'd also like to thank the CellAVision app representatives for their contributions that are coming up this season. We would like to thank Elaborate Topics podcast, number one, for their coverage of our event winner, our Super Cell Bowl winner last year, but also for their contributions coming up because they will be interviewing the winner of this year's Super Cell Bowl also again. So thank you very much, ladies, for hosting that wonderful session and for all your contributions in the future. Ms. Stephanie Whitehead is one of the wonderful ladies on that podcast, as well as Lona Small and Taiwana Wilson. So thank you all very much for your support of this event and also our winners. And then thank you, not last and not least, definitely, our program directors, faculty, and students who are participating in this year's event. We're so happy to have you back, if you're back for the second time, or to have you come into the event for the first time ever. So thank you all. We are becoming a bigger competition, putting more more power into each of the regions. So we're so thankful you're here. And we would like to thank our guests from the bench who are coming up this season. So we have Aaron. Do you want to go ahead and
Yes,
introduce them?
I'd love to. So this week too. So Ashley Reese is a supervisor at MD Anderson in Jacksonville, and her background is extensive hematology. She loves learning and educating, and she's all about the red cells. So she'll be our first guest coming up the second week. And then Lab Lady Gill actually knows our guest from week 3. So you wanted to talk about her a little bit?
I would love to. She's a good friend of mine, Melissa Norfolk. She is a YouTuber as well. So if you would like to go and check her and her co-host out, Dave, they are Differential Discussions. That is their YouTube channel, and they go through differentials, peripheral blood smear pictures, and they talk about the cells that are represented there, what they mean. And so it's a very great augment to the Cell Bowl tutorials. So if you would like to go ahead and follow up each of the tutorials with their discussions, that would be great. She's also on the ASCP BOC exam committee, the hematology exam committee with myself. We just started out together. So I'm so thrilled to have her here this year, and really big fan of hers. Do you want to continue, or do you want me to talk about week 4? Because I love her too.
You can talk about her, but yeah, so some good BOC tips. So I could definitely watch. But yeah, go and talk about week 4.
All right, so Catherine Go Lab is coming back to talk about granulocytes this year as well. And we did in last year's episode, there was some talk about how do you recognize visually an abnormal leukemia, so a leukemia, just from looking at the cells. And I made a statement last year where I said you can't really tell which translocations they are just by looking at it. And she said, except for one. And so we are coming back, and we're going to be talking about that one this year. So I'm so excited she's on her way back to help us out. Okay, if you want to go into week 5, we've got a mutual friend there too.
So things are going to heat up. We're going to bring in Carlo Ledesma. He's a DCLS, very active in DE&I and transgender medicine as well. He's a TikTok sensation for the lab. And that week there's possibly going to be a special surprise for a differential showdown.
That's a secret too. So yeah, don't say anything.
Don't tell anybody else.
It's just between us.
Yep. And then in week 6, Alfonso Ortiz has agreed to come in and talk about lymphocytes. So we're going to get into the good, the reactive, and the blasts. And then, of course, for you guys that make it to the Super Cell Bowl, we're going to have some special things going on, and those are secrets. So we can't reveal those yet.
So much fun to come. So thank you to all of our contributors and those who are supporting the Cell Bowl. We're very thankful. And for those who are competing, so thank you for being with us this year, and good luck. We're rooting you on. All right. So Aaron, do you want to tell us about our different conferences within the regions of the Cell Bowl?
Sure. Okay. So guys, we're going to be diving in. I'll start with the East. So unofficially, we've got gotten the East broken out into 2 conferences. So just like college football and the NFL, we've got the strong Southeastern Eosinophil Conference, the SEC. You see us rocking it down in the Southeast. And if you are in the East and yeah, you're a little northern part, you're actually part of the Big Ten Lymph Conference. You guys are very reactive, but we got you guys in the Southeast. So the Midwest is actually going to be our Big 17 Neutrophil Conference. You guys are defenders and the first fighters on the scenes in some cases. So you guys are going to bring that big game, bring that all those neutrophils, starting golf and stuff. It's going to be crazy.
It is great.
And then finally, to kind of round out the group, the West is going to be our platelet aggregation count conference. So our packed group, you guys are going to be aggregating and clotting up the scene. So
And getting excited.
Going to be competing in your own divisions too, just to see who can make it. So there's going to be a lot of differential talk and
vessel repair.
Yeah, so be prepared. We'll be having fun. Whoa.
So Aaron's going to introduce these programs.
There we go. Okay, so in Alabama, we've got the Baptist South School of Medical Laboratory Science. So the Baptist South School of Medical Laboratory Science is a one-year program, medical laboratory science program based out of Montgomery, Alabama. The affiliates, the students are able to either attend as a 3+1 or 4+1. And they receive a non-affiliated Bachelor's of Science degree students as well. So that 4+1 that a lot of hospital-based programs and other programs are doing. So student interns are able to participate in real-world situations and experience real life as professionals in the field. So it's kind of important to kind of get an idea of what you're getting into and what the field is like. So these students are actually able to really experience the day-to-day. So even during the COVID pandemic, students were able to alive and experience the pandemic firsthand and what it's like to go through an outbreak and a pandemic. So as healthcare professionals, it's important to kind of know about that.
Absolutely.
That was our East.
We've got the Midwest in Alabama, Arkansas. Sorry. I figured you would like this group.
I do. They are an awesome group. So I am actually a adjunct faculty member at UAMS for microbiology with Lindsay Gilbert. But UAMS is an amazing medical laboratory science program located in Little Rock, Arkansas. It is, older than the AACP, 104 years old. And their big thing is they have an on-site program which can accommodate 30 students, but their big thing is they are working on a online MLT, so 2-year to MLS program across the country, across 48 states. So when I'm teaching, I'm talking to lab managers in Oklahoma who've decided to continue their education. I actually ran into a UAMS student in my lab in Jacksonville, Florida. She wanted to keep going. So they've got this amazing bridge program and they're doing so many great things. So,
and you have a few of my graduates as well, just to put that out there.
Yep. So if you're MLT, wanting to go to MLS, it's a great program.
Okay.
Okay.
Next one's from
Going West. Oh, the great unknown.
Thank you, God.
Man, so excited for this group. Their group name's called Vitamin AK. That's their team name. They're the University of Alaska, Anchorage. So they're an MLS program and one of the few in Alaska. So they're doing all sorts of amazing things. Their medical laboratory science program provides strong academic and lab-based education that is teaching clinical microbiology, hematology, chemistry, and all the essential things as a medical laboratory scientist you need to know, and all the cool areas you can work in. So graduates from their programs have entered hospital-based labs, research laboratories at CDC, and postgraduate education in med schools and physician's assistant programs. So this is a great example of how you can stay in the clinical lab, but you have a great reach, and you're able to impact so much more with lab professionals at CDC, and then even in some cases taking their lab skills further into the healthcare team to teach more. So
Absolutely. So just to put in there that these are all NACLS accredited programs, all the ones that you will see. We have several more slides of programs to talk about, but all of the ones that are participating in this event this year, they're all NACLS accredited programs, and the students are all ASCP student members. So the student membership is free, and you get a lot of wonderful things from that. You can get the student awards, you can get scholarships, you can get information and help on career paths. You can get a mentor. You know, you have a lot of wonderful things that can happen from this membership. So these are only 3 of several that we're going to talk about. But I just want to make sure that any prospective student who is interested in the medical laboratory, the first thing you need to do is go to a NACLS accredited program within your state or online, whatever is suitable for your lifestyle. And that's why we're highlighting these programs this year. So moving on to the next slide. Did you want to say anything, Aaron?
how much did you say that student membership was? How much money?
Free. Totally,
Free.
totally
How much
free.
stuff is free? Exactly.
Totally
Take
free.
advantage.
Yeah, and we understand that you don't have a lot of money, so we're actually here to support you to make that money. If you look at all of these teams, it's in black, so I'm sorry it's not as showy, but all of their websites are on here. So if you're interested, you're in that state, you're in Alabama, Arkansas, or Alaska, all the A's in there. Feel free to go ahead to their websites and check out their programs. Okay, we're going to the next one. Aaron, do you want to do this one too?
Do this one too.
All right.
So where in the world are we going?
We've got Connecticut.
Connecticut. Whoa. Uh-oh. So University of Connecticut? The Yukon. It's very appropriate.
Yukon. So funny, haha, we had the Yukon earlier, but now we have Yukon.
We actually do. Yeah, so the Yukon is one of the top public universities in the nation, so they're a pretty solid program. And they're not just supporting cities, they're doing rural communities, which is very important. Between Boston and New York, they're doing the city kind of scene to it. So the Yukon Medical Laboratory Program is housed in the Allied Health Group. And they do have 3 paths to certification. So Tiffany kind of talked about the importance of making sure we're getting our board certification with ASCP or credentialing. So they've got 3 different paths. Their undergraduate degree, they've got a post-baccalaureate certificate. So if you're someone that, like me, that got a biology degree and I'm like, what am I gonna do with that? You can do the post-baccalaureate certificate. And then they're also doing a new approach where you can actually do a category certificate. So if you realize, hey, I just want to do chemistry or I just want to do hematology, some of the programs are doing it where you can actually,
I was doing that for chemistry too, because I was really big in chemistry.
Oh, yeah. That's not always my girl. But you can, with some of these areas, you can just get certified in that particular area if that's where you want to go. So after you've gotten your bachelor's degree. So the great thing is students are engaged in a 1-year intensive hands-on experience with courses followed up by 18 weeks of amazing clinical training time at one of the many affiliates that they have. They do world-class research. They've got amazing athletics. So even us lab folks, actually, we're not diffing. We're outside hiking and doing cool stuff. And it provides them with a well-rounded college experience, and it's all in the numbers. And look at that, greater than 99% pass rate. So they must be doing something right there. They won the Dairy Bar Award winners award, and they have one amazing basketball team.
Yeah,
Go
so they
Huskies.
have their own ice cream. If you are an ice cream lover, you should just go to UConn. If you're not dipping, you're having some ice cream.
From all the winning.
That's right.
Yeah. So
All
happy to
right,
have
so
them.
we had Connecticut. Look at those beautiful faces. We should
Mhm.
zoom in just because you might see them in this week's scores. Dun dun dun. That's a secret. We'll tell you it in a minute.
Yep.
Shh, don't tell anybody yet. All right, Colorado. Here we are. All right. Colorado. Look at those faces. We're so happy to see who you are, who are playing.
Exciting. So at Terra College, they have got a great medical laboratory technician program that
Sorry.
provides careers in hospitals, doctor offices, outpatients, so the standalone emergency rooms, veterinary offices, and even in industry labs. So you kind of see you don't just have to be in the hospital lab, you can explore, but we definitely need good laboratory professionals taking care of patients. So upon the completion of their MLT program, they are awarded a Associates in Applied Science degree in medical laboratory, MLT. And then the graduates are eligible to take the ACP MLT exam. So that's just one of many, but that's one great hard exam they have to take, and an amazing program with impacting their community. So we're glad to have you guys on board.
Yes, thank you so much. And we were just in Colorado for the Clinical Laboratory Educators Conference this year. So my first experience going out there for work. But we have a friend who lives out in Colorado, Dr. P, right? Dr. Dre, I call her Dr. Dre, Andrea Prinzi. She was on the micro Pictionary sorry, Pictionary micro edition episode.
Yep.
And so we were having a lot of fun there. And so we've got websites showing up right now. And now we're headed over to California.
Going out west.
That's right. Hitting the west. Oops. All right. So I just went to zoom in on their picture first.
Yeah.
I think this is hilarious.
Yep. So California State University, you guys are cracking us up.
Yes. So we had
I'm a little
Harry
hairy
Sell
too.
joining the group this year.
Yep. Yep. I feel like a hairy cell sometimes.
Yeah. And some great photoshopping skills of their program director. But yeah, I thought that was great. So go ahead.
Okay, so this is a great medical laboratory science program, and it's a cornerstone of just clinical, like, diagnosing diseases, and the professionals they're training are impacting the California community and beyond. So they are a strong laboratory-based educational program. So they cover all the great subjects like clinical micro, hematology, chemistry. But their graduates are very successful, and they're doing similar amazing things like staffing and taking care of our patients, doing some laboratory research that is impacting us nationally and globally at the CDC, and also pursuing postgraduate education. So as lab professionals and medical laboratory scientists, we're always learning. So if you're going to take your education in your laboratory skills to help educate other members of the diagnostic team, that's always an amazing thing to keep learning and educating. So if you're interested in this program and you're out in the California area, feel free to contact them. And their program director is very friendly and very excited about the profession. So happy to help.
So I don't know if you've been noticing a trend, But we're seeing that something that I tell my students all the time, you won't necessarily be in the hospital laboratory your entire life. I mean, look at us. You might go into education, you might work for the federal government, you could work for the FDA, so the Food and Drug Administration. It doesn't always have to be medical lab. You can go into forensics with the FBI. You can do a lot of amazing things, and it all started with your NACLS accredited program. So, or it could have even started with your NACLS approved phlebotomy technician program. So there are a lot of great things that you can end up doing. Sky's the limit. And honestly, laboratory testing for forensics is the same kind of stuff that you're going to be doing in the medical lab. It just has a different focus, maybe. And you might end up, seeing different applications. We don't do bullet striation, so that's different. But things like molecular testing and chemistry and hematology, you can see all of that in the forensics laboratory as well. So there are a lot of options. Feel free to contact a mentor to figure out what those options are, or even your program director or faculty member. All right, so in a world where the East needed more teams, we had George Washington University coming in from DC. Okay. I'm a Marylander, so I worked in DC for many years and also went to a program in DC. I have graduates who go to George Washington University, and we are proud to support them in this event as well. So to give you a little more insight on George Washington University, they're a medical laboratory science program that offers a Bachelor's of Science in Health Sciences. That's known as the BSHS degree program. And MLS can be done through two routes. So fully online, which is MLT to MLS, which is an option that a lot of my graduates entertain. There's also the hybrid MLS type of program, and these are for non-MLT students. Okay, so if you're already in MLT, go for the online version. Then there's also a post-baccalaureate certificate in MLS for those who are already have their bachelor's degree. Aaron, were you a 4+1?
Right, my hospital-based training program.
Okay, so I was a 4+1 also, and this is the kind of situation that they're talking about here, where you already have a bachelor's degree and want to be eligible to be ASCP certified. I will tell you that you can find opportunities out there to go ahead and work without having had a NACLS accredited program, and you can get a certain number of years of experience. However, I personally do not feel that that is the best route, because I had a biochem degree and I could have worked in the medical lab before I went into my MLS program, and going through and seeing the difference, I would have not been prepared at all. There is a completely different focus. You want to make sure you're really understanding how diagnostic testing is showing and indicating pathology, and you need to be from a program that has a pathology focus. So someone who has a life science degree usually has a different focus than something like a NACLS accredited program. So they are highly recommended to be to go to prepare you for the ASCP. The ASCP exam is not easy, but it's not unachievable. But your best option and the most direct option of eligibility route for the ASCP exam, no matter what it is to go through a NACLS accredited program that is geared towards that preparation. So I just wanted to put that out there, because just from personal experience, I wanted to make sure that you all know what really happens. So anyone who has a post-baccalaureate MLS certificate and has a bachelor's degree can be eligible to have ASCP certification. For those who had the BSHS MLS fully online or PCB or PBC, sorry, that's not even, just like these had the acronyms, that one's not acronymized up here, but the post-baccalaureate certificate MLS program, students are able to have the flexibility of completing coursework fully online and attending clinical rotations in their geographical area, which is great. So you can make sure to go, to work, and you're influencing change there, and then you're improving yourself and advancing your career by getting an online degree to continue that. So for the BSHS hybrid route students, they're able to attend lecture courses online and laboratory courses in person. Scholarships and clinical waivers are available to eligible students. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. Faculty members are all ASCP certified, they're subject matter experts and hold master's and doctoral degrees and are qualified to deliver the best possible education to help you achieve your goals. Why do you want to go there? Because the program has greater than 90% pass rate of the ASCP BOC exam for the past 3 years and has a greater than 94% employment rate for graduates within 3 months. So whether you are an MLT or non-MLT looking to have a bachelor's degree in MLS, or non-MLS with a bachelor's degree looking to become an MLS, GW is the right program for you, or has the right program for you. So you are in great company. You've got great educators there that will help you. There is their website. And you can go ahead and search them up and figure out if that's what you want to do. Iowa has Mercy College of Health Sciences that is also participating in our Midwest region of the Cell Bowl. What conference are they in, Aaron?
So,
Your sound is cutting out again. Say it again.
the Big 17 neutrophil cell.
The neutrophils, right? The segmented.
NCC.
There
the
you go.
NCC.
And here are their lovely faces. This group is coming from the state that I got my master's degree in. And this person is wearing a UCLA shirt. How dare you?
There's a Little Mermaid shirt also too.
So here we've got Mercy College of Health Sciences Medical Laboratory Science program is a three semester and 4+1 certificate program in Des Moines, Iowa. The program has one clinical site, Mercy One Des Moines Medical Center, just down the street from their campus. So you should be within close to walking distance, I would think, in order to get that clinical rotation in there. And there's a unique 2-rotation approach to clinicals, utilizing the ability of students to spend time in the clinical laboratory throughout the program with 2 separate experiences in each of the 4 main laboratory disciplines, which is interesting because I don't think a lot of people get 2 experiences. So I'm interested to know how that works out. So if you are interested and you go there, why don't you let us know so we can tell a little bit more about it on the show. So students can complete short exposure experiences at various sites in central Iowa. Face-to-face didactic courses run throughout the 3 semesters and all are taught by full-time faculty. That's impressive because you don't get that hardly anywhere. I'm the only full-time faculty member in my program and I have a couple of adjuncts. So this doesn't happen hardly anywhere. So that is a huge selling point there. The program has a 100% MLS pass rate for the ASCP Board of Certification exam and a 100% completion rate. That's incredible. Congratulations to you all. You are all amazing. And every student should want to go there. If you are in Iowa, that is a great place to go. There is their website. We're heading back over to California. We've got California State University in Dominguez Hills. Here they are not in the lab. That might be why you want to go there. I don't know. So they're in the Dominguez Hills right now, saying what's up to all their Cell Bowl friends, to you all online right now. The mission of the clinical laboratory science programs is to provide high quality education and professional preparation in cytotechnology and medical technology for a diverse student population to prepare them for traditional and emerging roles as clinical laboratory science professionals. So boom, they get out. I don't know if they're talking about like blood banking and stuff while they're hiking. I'm not sure. Or maybe that's their lab way back there.
It's over there. It's all about mental health. And the fact that they have a cytologist program too,
Oh, yeah.
that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, you might have to climb some mountains to get there, but it's well worth it once you're there.
Yes.
All right, so there's their website, and we've got one more set of programs to talk about before we head on into the stats, and you might even see some of them in the stats of this week. Maybe, maybe not. So we are coming back to the East Coast, heading over to Delaware, and we've got these lovely folks that are representing Delaware Technical Community College. Look how happy they are to be here. I'm so excited you're in the Cell Bowl. Thank you all. And the Medical Laboratory Technology Associate Degree Program at Delaware Technical Community College is a nationally accredited program that prepares the students who wish to seek employment as a medical laboratory technician. The MLT program has been at Delaware Tech and nationally accredited for over 50 years. So they're they're half of the age of ASCP. They are the only program serving the entire Delmarva Peninsula, which is Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. So I'm part of that. Students have 2 years on campus to learn theory and practical laboratory methods using instrumentation. The final last semester in clinical is in clinical rotations in local hospitals 5 days a week. That's crazy. Actually, I know a lot of places that do that. Ours do 2 days a week, but they do 5. That's incredible. So way to go, everybody. The MLT Student Club serves the community through blood drives and adopt a highway cleanup. Maybe that's what California was doing. They might have been doing some cleanup too. The program has a 100% pass rate for the ASCP BOC exam and 100% employment rate. So again, stellar program over there. If you are living in Delaware, please check them out and head on over there. If you're right out of high school, get in that program. Have some fun. You know you'll be employed. All right, so now we're heading over to Illinois to Frontier Community College. Here we've got some lovely folks there, and we're going to zoom in to see their faces. So hello, ladies. Thank you for coming on the show today. So FCC's mission is to deliver exceptional education and services to improve the lives of their students and to strengthen their communities, which is what it's all about. Students in the program will receive a blend of classroom instruction and hands-on training. MLTs are responsible for using sophisticated lab equipment, so the program's classroom and lab will provide real-world simulations and practice for a future career. A cooperative program has been developed in a hybrid format to allow students greater flexibility, which we all appreciate because, we have family lives too. And in the second year of the program, students will complete an internship with local laboratories. This provides one-on-one support, interactive learning, and potential career opportunities upon graduating from the program, which is really, really important. So here is their website. You want to check them out. If you live in Illinois, make sure to look them up and see if that is the program for you. So far on both of these, we have MLT programs. So that means as soon as you get out of high school, get in there, make it happen. Going to an MLT program, honestly, is the best thing to do because it immediately gets you into the field. You can start getting paid, and you'll have less debt. So get out there, get into the lab, start making some money, have less debt, and you can move out of your parents' house as soon as you want, and then start doing an online MLT to MLS program and continue your education to make it so you can move out of your apartment and get a house. All right. So here we're headed back over to California. Eisenhower Medical Center's MLS program is on the screen right now, and they are in a desert area of California, and they've got a very small, intimate program, which is something that can give you very one-on-one experiences. So for anyone who's out in California who really needs that personalized experience, head on over to Eisenhower Medical Center's MLS program. Here you've got some classmates right there. They are a very fun group. They love the sunshine and they love to laugh. So if that is you, head on over there. All right. So Aaron, are you ready to see how our teams did this week in the Cell Bowl? He's so excited. He can't wait, but you'll have to wait one more slide. Okay. So let's break down who's in our competition this year. I'm such a stinker today. Okay.
Let's go to the teams.
So how many teams do we have in this year's competition, Aaron?
We've got 87 teams from across 41 states. So we are more teams this year than last year. Got great representation from all over the place. We've got 36 MLT programs, 47 MLS programs, and 4 teams of both.
Wow.
Yes, so very exciting. So walk us through what's the breakdown, Tiffany?
Okay, so we have 22 states from the East Coast that are hanging out, and that's 49% of the entire competition. Oh, so everybody who's in regionals right now, if you're in the East, I'm so sorry. We've got 49 programs out of the East. I said that wrong, I think. 49 programs are 56% of the entire competition. I'm telling you, we are feeling the pressure. Are you feeling the pressure, Aaron, in the East?
We're feeling the pressure.
We are feeling the pressure. It is hard. Oh my goodness, to have the biggest region. It's a battle over here. We are cutthroat and having a good time though.
Yes, we are.
So 22 states versus the Midwest has 15 states and 31 programs, which is 36% of the whole competition too. And they're struggling to make it to the top as well. We just started week 1, but we've got 3 more weeks to go to see how our 4-week average is going to be and who's going to end up in the playoffs. The West, if you want to get into this competition and have a little bit less competition in the way of how many people are actually or programs are actually competing, you need to be in the West. We were trying to get more programs coming in. We got Alaska. Oh my gosh, we got Alaska. So thank you for coming. Yeah. So excited. I was telling Aaron, Alaska and Hawaii are my white whales. I wanted that. And I'm so excited that we got Alaska. We almost got Hawaii, but it was a little bit of a sticky situation there. Too many pineapples.
Yep.
So we've got 7 teams and they're representing 8% of our whole competition, and it's 4 states out of the West. So we are really excited to have you all, but 87. We had 71 programs last year, and this year we have 87. Thank you, Cell Bowl Work Group, for reaching out. And we put together a program directors list this year and emailing routing, and we're sending out lots of reminders and everything. So thank you all for accepting and coming on. All right, Aaron in the West. Let's break it down.
Break it down.
Break it down.
Okay, so we've got our one wonderful team from Alaska that's representing both MLT and MLS. We've got our 4 awesome MLS teams from California, one from Oregon, and that's an MLT program. And then we've got a MLS program in Washington. So
Thank you.
Covering the gambit. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. You want to hit the East too?
I'll let you do it this week.
What? You just want me to talk more. That's a lot. Okay, so it looks like we've got more MLS programs this year than we did last year throughout the entire competition. And you see that represented here in the East as well. So the orange are MLS programs and the blue are MLT programs. We don't have any that are both. That must be a West Coast thing. The West programs thing. I don't know. We don't have any of that over here in the East. We're so focused on tunnel vision. We have MLT programs and MLS programs. So the highest participation has come from Ohio this year in the entire program competition. Last year was Texas. Ohio took over the reins. Texas lost the highest participating program number this year. So Ohio, you've got 9 programs participating. Thank you so much. The next highest would be Pennsylvania and North Carolina, and that's following up 5 less with 4 programs in this competition. So thank you all for making this difficult for all of us on the East Coast. All this wonderful participation is just making it so we are bettering ourselves so we can make it to the playoffs. So thank you for all your participation and coming in. I was wrong. The Midwest has both as well. Aaron, you want to cover that one?
So,
We're having sound issues again.
So we've got a good mix of teams. The East. So this is an MLT and MLS programs. So Arkansas, Louisiana, has had some programs between MLT and MLS.
Okay, there we go. Can you start again? Because now your sound is good.
So with the Midwest, we've got quite a bit, a good mix up. We've got Arkansas, Wyoming, Louisiana, and these guys have both MLS and MLT programs. Some of our other teams like Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, and Minnesota is a good mix of MLT and MLS programs that are individual MLT or MLS programs. And then in some cases, we've got some locations like Nebraska that's just got our MLT program. So we've got a great mix of teams. And like our last year's winner said, cells are cells. So no matter what type of program you're in, you're learning about the cells the same way everyone else is. So
that's right.
Should be fun to see who comes out on top.
So we just met our only Arkansas and Colorado and Iowa programs in the previous slides. So if you want to know who you're up against, take a look at those pictures. Send them a Christmas card. All right. So here we are. Look at this. So many teams. Oh my gosh. So this year, it's crazy. This year, we are still collecting information about what cell lines our students are having trouble with, but it's more of an anecdotal type of thing for program directors and faculty to focus on internally. I don't have room on our cell bowl slides to get those that piece of information in there as well, because I'm trying to fit as many people programs on here as possible. So we still didn't get, even though they're tiny, we still didn't get all of the East programs on here. There were a couple of hanging over the slide. So we'll talk about that shortly. So let's take a quick look. Aaron, are you frozen? Or are you looking down? Oh, okay. You're writing. Do you want to go ahead with the West?
Sure thing. Yeah, so out of our West teams, we had 6 out of the 7 teams submit scores. So it's kind of important to make sure that you remember that Thursday you got to get your score in. Just whatever your highest score is, if it's a perfect score, or if it's whatever the best your team has done, make sure you get that score in, along with the amazing selfie photos as well. We want to keep promoting your team and all your fun stuff. So our high score in the West was California State University, Dominguez Hills. Woo!
It's because they're in the mountains, I swear.
It is. It's the air is better there. The hiking, it's something to that mental health and taking care of yourself thing. But they look at that. They had 2 perfect scores for the week in week 1. So they actually are leading with a perfect score time of 46.28. Very impressive. And real close in the mix for the West is University of California Irvine CLS training program. So they had the other perfect score of the season at 49.02. So you got the 2 in the top heat, but you cannot count the other teams out at this point. Eisenhower Medical Center, California, scored a 61. Heritage University in Washington has a 65 for their time. And then California State University has a 66. And in 6th place, we got our University of Alaska Anchorage with a 71, and then our Portland Community College at a 90. So like Tiffany was explaining earlier that, you know, if you did not submit your score, you received a 90. And for the people that didn't receive the perfect scores initially, just had a second added on for each additional point. So it's important to submit your scores. You're still accruing points and you're still in the heat. So this is week 1. So you guys in the West kind of know who you're competing against, who the top people in the field are, but that could change at any point. So University of Alaska, you guys still got this.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the arrow because I was doing that for something. So in the Midwest, we had 26 out of the 31 programs submit a score this week. So again, please just make sure you get it in by the end of Thursday. That is not a time zone issue because I don't close it until Friday morning. So don't worry about if it was East Coast or West Coast time or whatever. Just make sure you get it in on Thursday. So we were seeing some amazing scores here too. We've got Montana State leading the pack with 37.3 seconds. What?
That is crazy.
We are already, I can't even believe this. Look at all these perfect scores and the times. They're so good. And we just started.
Yeah.
There's not really much room for improvement because these are so amazing. So we've got the top 10 scores here were already perfect scores in the Midwest. That's crazy. So we've got Montana State University, Southeast Community College, Northern Illinois University, UT Health San Antonio, Alfonso. We have University of Louisiana, Monroe, Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. I think Catherine Golab's going to have something to say about that. Loyola University, Chicago, whose program director is one of our good friends. Mid Plains Community College, Moraine Park Technical College in Wisconsin, and Rush University in Illinois. Those all led you top 10 in the the Midwest, and they were all perfect scores. As we were saying, there is math that goes behind these times. These were all non-perfect scores, which means they didn't get 30 cells within a minute. So we're adding a second on for each cell that they didn't, or each less than perfect than they got. So 29 is a 61, because we're adding one more second. All right, so you can look at it that way if you would like. I'm not going to put both up here, but I am keeping track of both. So Houston Methodist Hospital Medical Laboratory Science Program in Texas was leading the pack of non-perfect scores, which are still really great scores. So they're in 11th. St. Paul College in Minnesota is number 12. Central Community College, Grand Island, Nebraska is in 13th. Grayson College is in 14th. That's Texas again. And we've got Hennepin Healthcare Medical Laboratory Science Program in Minnesota again, following up in 14th, and tying with Mercy Hospital MLS program, Wichita State University, all of those, and Grayson College were tying for 14th. Then we have a tie in 15th place with Mercy College of Health Sciences in Iowa, and Ozarks Technical Community College in, is that Missouri? That's Missouri, for 15th. And then in 16th place, we have a tie again, spanning several programs. Otero College in Colorado, that we just saw in a couple of in that other program spotlight. Then we've got St. Francis Health System in Oklahoma, South Dakota State University in South Dakota, University of Illinois, Springfield. All of those are 16th place. Great job. And then Frontier, which you saw earlier as well in Illinois, Community College is rounding out 18th. Madison is in 19th. Madison, just to let you know, has been a great supporter of doing all these fun student-centered Twitter experiences that Medical Lab Lady Gill has been leading. And that was for Lab Week. We did the tutorials for all the students, and we were connecting them with professionals in the pathology and laboratory arena on Twitter, and making sure that the world is getting to learn from you all. So look out for that in Lab Week. But their program director is really awesome, and she helps keep students extremely engaged with the global community and their community as well. Casper College is heading out all of the 20th place ties of people that did not submit a score this week. Okay, so Casper College, Central Texas College, Lake Superior College, Louisiana State University, Alexandria, and UAMS, please submit your scores by Thursday, okay? You can still be in the game. We are we are looking forward to keeping your scores, and week 4 is an average. So in case you missed 1 week, you still are in play, okay? The first 4 weeks. All right, Aaron, do you want to hit the East over here? We're having sound problems again.
Okay. So just saying that we're seeing a little bit of rouleau, a little bit of stacking towards the end. So it's anybody's game.
It really is.
Okay, so thank you for letting me do the East. I'm very excited to kind of walk through some of the top players, and then to walk through the rest of the field, because I'm actually in the East. But rounding out the East, at the top of the field is University of Connecticut, so UConn, at 27.12.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So the East So that, yep. The East is not the Big Ten Lymph Conference is not playing around.
No.
They are in it to win it, so everyone's got to be watching out for them, the team to watch. The Bowling Green State University, Ohio, they're within not even a second, so 28.49 of our top team. University of Cincinnati in Ohio, something in the Ohio, like the Ohio State, that they must be doing
It's the
something.
water.
But yeah, 30.85. And
I'd like to mention just a second here
yeah,
that Bowling Green started out strong last year too. So they were really doing well at the beginning of last year's competition as well. Thank you for coming back and starting out stronger even than before. So you all have been practicing. I'm watching you. And University of Cincinnati, we've had graduates go there as well. All of these are really great programs. So thank you all for all you do. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Central Piedmont. I'm so excited because I'm seeing all these ones that did really great last year, and they're coming back and they're killing it.
They are. They're not playing.
No.
So Central Piedmont Community College in North Carolina had a perfect score of 31.45 to squeak into the fourth place. And very proud of our fifth place spot. A good program director is a good friend of mine at Hillsborough Community College in Florida with a solid score, beating out the rest of Florida, including our team in Jacksonville. So Dr. Kapoor's group got a 33.96 score to land them into fifth place in the East and is competitive across the entire country, fifth. So I am so proud of you guys. I've gotten to give guest lectures for their MLS students, and they've got a smart group, so I'm very, very proud of them. Okay, and in sixth place, one group you cannot count out, our current wonderful champions.
Yes.
Yep.
I want to see how this is going to play out because our winners of the Super Cell Bowl 2021 was Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College in West Virginia. They have somebody else playing against them this year in West Virginia as well. And we'll see those a little bit later. But we've got two teams out of West Virginia and they're competing and they're coming on strong. Oh my gosh. So 35.19 seconds. We're going to do a little bit of inter-regional analysis in just a second, but I cannot believe this. Let's take just a quick second and look. All the way down to place 17 is perfect scores. What? And I would like to point out that our programs are not in them. Well, we were this close. We were this close to getting there. So we are so excited that, it's all starting out this crazy. It just makes you want to do even more, right? Sorry, keep going. I'm just so excited. This is incredible.
We're going to keep dividing this up. And yeah, so can't count anyone out in the top 17. So as teams, you guys got to keep competing. And after we're done going through the scores, I'll give you my tips for the week. But yeah, so our Super Cell Bowl winner is right there, got right in the top 10. So you got to watch out. And then we've got AB Technical Community College in North Carolina with a perfect score of 36.53. And Ohio, look at that, another Ohio school, Marion Technical College, 37.59. McLeod Medical Technology School in South Carolina, at Southeastern East Central Conference, look at that, 44.82. We got Centennial University, New Jersey.
First time players already making it in the top 10.
Squeaking into that top 10, exactly.
Squeaking? Oh my gosh.
Shifting their way up to the top.
There you go.
In week one. So already coming on strong. So very excited. Number 11, who's real close, is Ferris State University in Michigan with a time of 48.86. and that Mercer County Community College in New Jersey got some East representation, some Northeast representation at 50.37.
Wait a minute.
Clark's,
Wait a
yeah,
minute. Lisa Shave is the program director of Mercer County Community College in New Jersey. She's a good friend of mine. And I would just like to say that her team and my team were like this last year. She's like totally taking it from us. This first round. Oh my gosh. So she's in 12th. Her team is in 12th. And mine is in 18th. Great job. Her team and my team started out with a 29 last year. And that was the only week we didn't get a perfect. And so we were neck and neck the whole time. But they're killing it this year because they already started out with a perfect. So we're reliving the past, but they're not. So great work. Just want to point that out. Good job.
with a score of 50.8. You've got Old Dominion University in Virginia. They're still in the heat in the 50s. Georgia Southern University got that South SEC going, 51.92. Indiana University in the Bend of Indiana, 53.07. And then rounding out our perfect scores, Michigan Technical University with a 57.62. So you can kind of see how close it is throughout all these conferences.
It's insane.
It is. Everyone is having a blast real early.
Early. I don't know how they're going to do any better. Look at this, just across the top. This is crazy. You all are incredible. They must have been practicing all year, like ready for Cell Bowl season 2, because this is insane.
You got to practice during the preseason.
Oh my gosh.
You got to be pre-diffing.
Yeah, you all were definitely lifting weights with your fingers over the year, because this is
differentiating those cells. Yep.
Yeah.
And then keeping it real close. You have teams that didn't quite get the perfect score, but made it really, really close. So with a score of 61, you've got a 3-way tie with Cleveland Clinic, some program in Southern Maryland.
College in Southern Maryland.
they're doing some awesome stuff there. And then Guthrie RPH Medical Lab Science Program. All 3 of those are still in the heat, tied with a 29. So real close.
Yeah.
We got one school with a 62 in Ohio, the Wayne State. Like the right stain.
Right stain. Right state.
The right stain.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. So the Wright State University in Ohio. There's something in the water in Ohio. You guys are killing it, and
they are. They're gonna take it all.
Not to count us out or anything, but the Florida State College at Jacksonville, we're calling ourselves the Baptist Team Dream Team. We are rocking it. I've got some amazing all-stars there that were competing up until the end, and got some stuff up our lab coat sleeves, so you can't count us out. But we're tied for 20th in the East with George Washington University, Virginia Commonwealth University, and
VCU.
From Sanford, and then Wayne State University. We're all tied for 20. And then Tiffany, can you walk us through the rest of the East?
So wanted to say welcome back, VCU and Wayne State. You all did amazing last year too. Keep it up. Thank you for coming back. We've got a newcomer here, River Valley Community College in New Hampshire. So bringing it from the NH state. Yes. Thank you for coming. They're in 21st place, and they're tied with UPMC Williamsport MLS program in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, as we saw, was you know, keeping it represented, representing the state with 5 programs, I think it was. And they were rounding out right behind Ohio with 9. So you're going to see them throughout. We've got AHN St. Vincent School of MLS back this year, and they are in 22nd place in the East, and they are together with Piermont Community and Technical College in West Virginia. That's who's putting it on the heat on for Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College, and out of the wonderful state of West Virginia. And then we've got Akron Cooperative Medical Laboratory Science Program. I think they're new too, as far as I can remember. Welcome. You're in 23rd with Radford University, Carolina, I think, is how you say that, out of Virginia. So right near home for me. And then 24th is shared by Good Samaritan Hospital School of Medical Laboratory Science in Indiana, and Northwestern Florida State College in Florida. I think, how many Floridas do we have? We have 2 or 3.
We should have 3.
Okay, I think 3, yeah. And then Ohio again, Mercy Integrated CLS program. They, I think, are back from last year. So welcome back. You're in 25th place with Upstate Medical University in New York. Upstate New York, you know. And we know the previous program director who just retired after like 36 years, a good friend of mine, Sue Graham. And then we've got Baptist South School of Medical Laboratory Science in Alabama in 26th with Penn State University, who's coming on for the first time this year. Thank you. Bristol Community College is back, and they are in 27th with Southwestern Community College, Western Piedmont Community College also. And 2 of them are from North Carolina, and the other one, Bristol, is in Massachusetts. What? So we're spanning the coast. And then we've got Columbia State Community College in Tennessee rounding out the 28th placers who didn't actually make it to the field this week. So make sure you get directions and come on the field next week, and we'll get your score in. So we got Delaware Technical Community College that we showed up earlier. They lost their map and GPS. Hocking College is back this year also. Morgan State, my friend in the MD, they're out there as well. And Raritan Valley Community College, Rhode Island Hospital, and our Old Lady of Fatima Hospital, they're coming back this year as well. Sinclair College is in Ohio, and Tri-County Technical College in South Carolina, and Vermont is coming in, University of Vermont in there. So we've got 40 out of 49 programs that submitted. Please make sure that you don't forget. So out of it, we had 5, 6, and 9. So there's a few that we need to make sure are getting their GPSs updated so they remember where the Cell Bowl field is. Thursday nights, make it happen. You know, it's not Friday night football, it's Thursday night Cell Bowl. Cell Bowl. All right, we love all of you. We are pumped to see all of you getting in this competition. Coffeeville, forgot, I don't feel like I said their name, did I? I'm like getting so excited. Out in Kansas, they're in 17th place. I swear I must have skipped over them because I don't remember saying their name. So I want to zoom in real quick. Ozarks Technical Community College, I did say, and Coffeeville Community College out in Kansas, they did really great. They're in 17th this first week too. I don't want to skip anybody. Sorry. I was looking over there. So everybody's doing really great. And even if you didn't get a perfect score, that doesn't mean you won't next week. Okay, so week 2 is coming. Make it happen, get out there, get some good stuff going in. So let's take a look at the competition as a whole real quick. Are you ready for some coolness?
As we go back to the locker rooms and to the lab, going to week 2.
That's right. You want to make sure you take your cell line information back to the locker room, talk about your plays for the next week and how you're going to review tape and take a look at your next plays. So I just wanted to make sure this didn't get lost on us because this is amazing. So the first place winner's time is in between the 5th and 6th place winners time in the Midwest, from the West to the Midwest, right? And then the first place winners time in the Midwest was in between the 7th and 8th place teams in the East. So you can kind of see how we're filling out right here. So we kind of have our top 10 in the nation already displayed up here. And oh, what's that? The best time? What? University of Connecticut touchdown! Woo! Way to go. So you are winning it so far. We keep track of the touchdowns every week. And as you saw last year, if you did not watch it, watch last year's playlist, Cell Bowl 2021. If one team didn't have the touchdown, the other team had the touchdown. So I'm really excited to see who you're going to be fighting with on the Cell Bowl field to maintain those weekly touchdowns. This is going to be so exciting. All right. So last year we talked about how to properly make a smear and what the stain looks like, including what a peripheral blood smear looks like when it's unstained and when it's stained. So we were talking about how white blood cells, you can't really see them, can you? I changed the pictures from last year because I found one with multiples in it. But when we look at this, the reason why we call them white blood cells is because we use white light. So a bright field microscope uses white light and it passes through the specimen on the slide. That was spread along the slide by dragging, like by suction. It's so cool, by dragging those cells along the slide so that they're not smushed. They're just pulled along kind of like by capillary action and spread out so we can see them and see them in a 1-cell layer instead of them just being dropped on there and it's like 5 cells deep. We're trying to spread them out. So they're white because they don't have any pigmentation naturally in them, whereas red cells are that salmon color because they have hemoglobin in them. Okay, so when we do stain them, we have different parts of the stain that stain different parts of the cell because an acidic part of the cell will be stained with a complementary style of stain, which would be an alkaline part of the stain. And then the acidic portion, or I said the acidic, then the alkaline portion of the cell will be stained and pick up stain by the acidic part of the stain. So that's how come you see an enhancement of red blood cells. It's like we're coloring their hemoglobin. And then we have some coloring of the white blood cells, the granules, the in the cytoplasm, and we've got the ribosomes and everything in the cytoplasm, and then we've got the nucleus in the middle. So that's what you're seeing here. That's why whites don't actually look white in a stained smear. because we want to make them so we can see their morphology. So as you saw last time, I showed you pictures of manual stain, but there can absolutely be automated staining procedure as well. And it tells you the stain components over here. So if you didn't check this out last year, it is a good idea to go into that and look there. The reason we're covering it slightly here is just because anytime you're going to learn something new, you need to know where you've been in order to be able to know where you're going. Okay. So this is all foundational information to then talk about what we're talking about this week. So this week we're covering improper smear technique. Okay. So that includes the way that you spread it, the specimen's integrity, the way that you spread it, the quality of the materials, and the staining technique. Okay, so let's get into that really quickly. So I'm going to zoom in. Aaron, do you have anything you want to say?
Sounds good. No, it's true. You want to know what team are doing something. It was very cool.
I can't really hear you.
To know why that's a good thing to keep track of and remember why it's called something. So very cool.
Okay.
14, okay.
So thank you. For the proper smear, you want to take a drop, and you do have to look at the size of the drop. So even just like if you're doing a microbiology slide, you don't want to take like 7 colonies and put it on there. That's too much. Just because you can't really see it very well, duh, you're not supposed to, because they're microorganisms, right? Just because you can't see it very well doesn't mean there's not a lot of them there. Okay, so you're trying to make a single layer of cells. So we don't want the drop to be too big. And if you did look at the video of me making the peripheral blood smear first, I even showed you, oh, that drop's too big. Oh, this one's too small. Oh, there we go. Now we got it. Okay, so you don't want it too small or too big. It needs to be spread across 3/4 of the way of the slide and to go to the sides of the slide, not over them, because you don't want an infection control issue. And if you do it properly, you'll get this beautiful feathered edge that goes out over here. It's got a beautiful sheen. It's so pretty. It's kind of like a rainbow. If you look at it, it has to be dry first for you to see that. But it's going to be like a pink to purple color after it's stained. Okay. And microscopically, you're going to see the cells separated into, this is not the correct counting area because they're too far apart. The red cells are too far apart, but I just wanted to show you that this is a nicely stained right stain slide. Very cool cell here. You might want to take a look at that later. We'll be talking about it later. The lymphocyte leak, right? So that's kind of what you're looking at. You see that all of these cells are evenly stained. We've got beautiful red cells here. We've got platelets. We've got a white blood cell, lymphocyte here, and another platelet. Okay. And depending on how you have your light will also depend on what you see. Okay. So if you have it too high, things will be very washed out, including your eyeballs. Your eyeballs will fry. Oh my gosh. I go to students' microscopes and I'm like, whoa, are you trying to blind me? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, start out low, have a little bit of a lower light there. Okay, so let's take a look at these guys in the middle. So this is all macroscopic looking versus microscopic. And we're going to look at these different kinds of things that you might find that are not the proper smear, okay? And you can see what a proper smear looks like before you even look at it under the microscope. So that is not That's not an excuse. You should know what it's going to look like microscopically from your macroscopic look. You're going to know if it's going to be quality or not. So we've got the different types of outward visuals that would indicate what you may see within a chemistry panel or within the microscopic look of the smear. So as we said before, the specimen integrity is always an issue. I mean, I worked in chemistry for years. That was mainly where I was in the core lab, but I was on chemistry a lot. And, you know, we always look at the specimen integrity of the plasma or the serum, right? And you can see, is it cloudy? Is it that beautiful yellowy serum color? Or is it hemolyzed with red? Or is it lipemic with white cloudiness? Or is it icteric with that like orangey looking type of tinge to it? It could even have gall in it where it's green, you know, crazy stuff, or brown, you know, and there's all of these things that you can look at. You can't really do that with a whole blood EDTA whole blood tube unless it sat for a while. And if it sat for a while, then you have to worry about how long it's been since, you know, it's been collected. So you don't want it to sit for a while. You don't want to centrifuge it, right? But you can kind of see these things obviously on the automated CBC. And if you know your parameters, like we talked about last year, if you know your parameters, you can identify if something is hemolyzed or if there's something something weird happening, and that will help you to say, we should probably make a smear. Okay, so the specimen integrity needs to be within 4 hours of collection. All right, the cells don't know you took them out of the body. They don't. They keep on metabolizing, and depending on what happened in their way of shipment to the lab, they might have ended up changing into a hemolyzed specimen. So if there's a lot of jostling, so if you're a phlebotomist or you're doing phlebotomy and you're done with collecting, you don't want to shake. I don't think I've ever seen a phlebotomy or a student even shake like this, because I always say, don't do that. But that's going to cause hemolysis. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure your needle gauge is the right size, so it's not just slicing the red cells and the white cells as they're going through the needle as you're collecting them. You want to make sure the tourniquet's not on too long. So if it's over a minute, you might have some hemo concentration that you would see in chemistry. You would also see hemolysis most likely. So there's a lot of pre-analytic features and techniques that we need to make sure that we're practicing in order to have a quality specimen. That includes drawing below the line or device, or basically you should be doing the other arm if you can. That way it's not even contaminated with any IV fluid or medication. Okay, so within 4 hours of cell collection. So if it's not, you might see some cell artifacts, which include echinocytes, spherocytes, necrobiotic leukocytes, and vacuolated neutrophils. And that's because of the interaction between EDTA and the blood cells themselves. So naturally, you're going to see some vacuolization in your monocytes from the EDTA type of interaction, but you might end up seeing that in neutrophils too. And some of these things, you know, you're thinking, oh, what is he doing? You're thinking, okay, well, this could be a pathologic type of scenario. Well, not really. You know, it could mimic a pathologic scenario, but that's maybe not what we're expecting to see. So if you're reporting it out and you don't realize it's a specimen integrity issue, that's kind of not good, right? So you all are expected to be the experts. So let's take a look. If we had elevated lipids, we might see this kind of situation in letter F here. Okay, so there's this blotchiness. It could also be a slide that is not clean. It could have dirt on it. It could have oil because, you know, I don't know, why do you have oil on it before when you're spreading it? But say that you messed up making a slide or something. I don't know. I can't even make an excuse for that. I have no idea why you would use an oil slide. But
oils next to where the slides are where they shouldn't be, and some
maybe,
oil gets on it,
I
but
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's on your fingers, like your gloves when you're doing it, maybe. And then when you spread it, it's like, oh, what is that? So that, you know, because oil is their lipids, so that makes sense why you would see it for both. So it could be the quality of the materials, it could be the specimen integrity. Cold agglutinin, you're going to see some situation there where I think I had was, I'm trying to remember now. I think it must have just been this one. But cold agglutinin, you would be seeing clumping. You know, for any blood bankers out there, you know what that looks like. Agglutinations on your slide, you'd see these little clumps, and they just look like dots. Because it's a clumping of cells together. So cold agglutinin is where you have an IgM antibody that is pulling these red cells together to make agglutinations. And we're used to seeing that in blood banking, but you don't want to see that on your hematology slide. I don't have a picture of that. But it's very obvious. It's like little specks of intense intense color. And then hemolytic anemia and leukemias, you would see differences in your slides as well, but I don't have a picture that goes with that. All right, if your spreader slide was chipped or unclean, and I think that's the only one I have for A, you might see this. Okay, so you've got these jagged edges and the just, you know, tails are what we call them. You might end up seeing this because it's basically scratching the slide as it's going along. You've got a spreader slide that's a glass slide, and you've got, you know, if you're using the same one over and over again, that's not a good idea. And if you are doing that for some reason, you would want to clean it. So you might as well just get a clean slide, right? It's not a good lab practice to use the same ones over and over and over again, okay? In the automated scenario, there's a wiper blade that does it itself, and it cleans itself in between. So if you're noticing this on an automated situation, you need to go clean that sucker off. You might not have done your weekly maintenance. And you need to go do your weekly maintenance on your stainer, your slide maker stainer. If you have too big of a drop, Aaron, you might see letter D here. Okay, you make sorry, that's not too big, that's too thin. So if it was too small, you end up with D. If it was too big, it might go all the way to the end of the slide. It's craziness. Okay, and this is too small. You don't really get a very good feathered edge here. You don't get a good counting area. They're still kind of on each other. Okay, if we have a spreading a drop that dries. So, okay, I've got 5 different specimens and I'm making slides for all of them. And I decide, okay, let's put the drops on first and then go back and spread them. Not a good idea, because this is what ends up happening. The blood is drying. And when you go to spread it, you know, you're allowing it to go across this the width of the spreader slide. and then you're moving it, right? So here, this kind of just coalesced, and then you have some that move with you that weren't completely dry yet, but it's going to leave this great big streak. And we don't want racing stripes in our in our slide. We're not here to do that. We're here to count. We're not here to race. So that's not a good situation.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
We're racing to save our patients' lives, but in this case, it's not a good situation. You don't want your race stripe on your differential. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So don't try to do several different patients and put a drop on first and then use the same spread like this. That's making me cringe just thinking about that. Don't use the same spreader slide. Don't do like 5 different ones at a time. You need to focus and do one patient at a time because we're trying to give quality care. Okay. It's not about output. It's about quality output, right? Not quantity,
Exactly.
but quality. Yes.
Don't do it, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
one
don't do it,
patient.
man. So another scenario could be if you don't have the right angle of your spreader slide. So I'm not the type of person, and I think you've all have seen this this video already. I can't do that hold the length of it so that you've got here's the spreader slide so that you have it like this. I can't do that technique. My hand sometimes breaks the slide. I get so so focused on trying to maintain the angle and the just the attachment of that slide that it goes crazy. I've broken tubes in one hand too. I'm like a little Hulk. So instead I do it this way. And I put it on the side and I do it this way. And you don't want to do it too fast, just like your cell quiz. You want to take the time, you watch to make sure that the blood is going across the width, but the width of the base slide. And then once it gets there, you just steadily, it's not like this. I see a lot of people do this. And if you're really good at pressure and stuff and that works for you, that's okay. But sometimes it's just too fast, right? And so we can't always have the perfect pressure and speed. You want to keep consistent of all of that. So I'm someone who ends up doing it on the side and doing it that way. And that way I don't break slides and I have better technique that way. So if that's something that you're interested in, take a look at that video because it's really good. And since I can't do it that way, I did when I was in school, and then I switched it. So my students end up doing it on the side too, and they find that they have better control as well. That length thing, I don't know who came up with it, but it freaks me out. I'm so terrible at it. Okay, so you need to have the right angle. You need to have the right type of pressure and speed, as we were just saying. If you don't, guess what happens? You can see it looks like you didn't have either of those. So if you didn't have equal speed, you're not going to have equal distribution of the blood over the slide, and pressure is not going to be the same. You have this. Okay, it doesn't always look like this. It might be on the other side, it might be in the middle, and then the others are like way back. It really depends on where your pressure is. Okay, if you have inconsistent speeds, you're looking at letter B.
So sometimes there's not a need for speed.
Yeah, it's like speed bumps. Exactly. Or, it's like you're hitting waves on the water. If any of you are boaters like I am, like your bow keeps chopping because you're not at the right speed and you keep hitting those waves and it's so uncomfortable instead of having a good steady speed where you go over the waves. So same thing here. You want to have great speed. Yeah. Consistency. All right. And if it's too quickly, you get this. All right. So you can tell a lot about the person's technique who did the actual preparation of the slide just by looking at what the slide looks like. Okay. Oh my gosh, this one, E. Let's talk about that one. If you're letting the bloods not spread across the slide as far as you should so that it goes across the spreader slide and goes across the width of the peripheral blood smear slide, then you're going to get this. It looks like a bullet. Everybody's like, oh, you want it to look like a cat's tongue. And that's a baking thing too. But this looks like a bullet. You don't want it to look like a bullet. You want the cat's tongue. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, okay. So if the air drying technique is going too slow, what you're going to find is that your cells, since they're not really surrounded anymore by that beautiful serum or plasma, what's going to happen is they're going to start drying out. Okay, so they're going to start shrinking and shriveling. They're crenating. Okay, because osmosis, right? Water goes from higher concentration to lower concentration, and all it's going to do is just try to get out of your cell. Because it's like, whoa, we're not surrounded by an aqueous solution anymore. Well, let's get out of here. And what, Aaron? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know what is happening. We were going great before we started recording, and then we had the sound issue. I'm sorry. So what you end up with are echinocytes, eaten look to RBCs, shiny blotches in RBCs. I don't have all of those visible here, but I do have some a picture of what it looks like microscopically so that you have all these echinocytes. Okay, if you have ever worked in urinalysis or you are in urinalysis and you've seen under the scope of a urine with RBCs in it, you might see a lot of echinocytes depending on what the solute concentration is in the urine. So the specific gravity would tell you, as well as the pH would affect this, but it's not an isotonic solution, right? So your red cells and your white cells are going to be affected in a urine by the specific gravity of the urine, right? So do you have a higher concentration outside the cell versus inside the cell? And if so, we're going to see a loss or a gain. So if you have a hypertonic solution, so there is more solute outside of the cell, you might see the water going out. If it's hypotonic, there's too much concentration of solute in the cell, so water will rush in, and you end up seeing ghost cells in your urinalysis, right? Because they start to break open. You'll see glitter cells, the white blood cells, that their granules, they get swollen, and the white blood cells get swollen, and then with the movement of the Brownian motion of the urine, you've got the granules moving and everything, and they look so pretty. It looks like they got glitter in them. That's a glitter cell because of the solution. So everywhere, every kind of specimen that you have to remember that depending on what is happening in their environment, the cells are going to react. Okay, they don't just stay and like, oh, they didn't take a picture of me yet, I have to look beautiful. They don't just stay like that. They react to what's around them. The acid-base balance changes. The water osmosis is going to change, the water concentration distribution across the cell membrane. There's a lot of stuff that happens. And I know that we're going off of hematology, but I get really geeky and I get really excited and I like to talk about it all. So let's jump back here. So you have a drying artifact here. I did have some pictures that had that shiny piece in there, but I felt like the mixture I had was pretty good of what I do have showing here. Okay, And then staining technique. If your stain is expired, you could have really crazy things happen. And if you're not straining it, and it gets pretty trashy, you can see stuff like this over here. And that looks like bacteria, right? Oh my gosh, this person's septic. No, they're not. No. Yeah, it looks like gram-positive bacteria. It's not, it's stained trash. And how you can figure that out is if you go up and down with your planes on the microscope, use that fine tuning knob, the fine focus adjustment. So if your stain is your stain or your buffer is too acidic, or there's under buffering, you're gonna see over no, I'm sorry. If your stain or buffer is too acidic, if you're under buffering your stain or you're over rinsing, the RBCs are going to be too pale, or the red blood cells and white blood cells are going to be barely visible. Okay, so your stain gets affected by these different situations. If your stain or buffer is too basic, on the other hand, if there's inadequate rinsing, or you have prolonged staining, heparinized blood specimen instead of an EDTA specimen, what are you going to see? Gray red blood cells, dark white blood cells, and gray eosinophil granules. They look sick. And not in a good way. Not like, oh, you look sick. No, it's, oh, you look sick. So let's take a look at what those all of those things look like microscopically. So we saw the drying artifact over here. It's not echinocytes are not the only thing. And you can honestly see too if echinocytes are in part of your smear but not in the other part. It could be that once the thicker part, because it was closer to the spreadable area, that could have been the only place where there were echinocytes maybe, and then the other spots were a little bit better. That could just be that it didn't dry fast enough. Some people put a fan next to the drying slide so that it speeds up the drying, but you don't want to blow on it, okay? Because if you blow on it, you're adding moisture, right? And we already talked about how cells react to excess moisture, right? And you could be putting bacteria in there, right, Aaron? Yeah, sorry, I still can't hear you. One more time, try again. This is such a shame because he has really great insight, and I'm missing the jokes. So here's poor staining, acidic buffer, or under buffering or over rinsing. I can't zoom in any further, but there's a white blood cell. Look, you can hardly see it, right? Here's a white blood cell. Here's a white blood cell. There's a white blood cell. It's terrible. There's one over there, I thought. So the stain, poor staining, they're barely visible. This would be this scenario right here, right? Acidic stain buffer. So we said that over here. So RBCs are too pale or they're red, and the white blood cells are barely visible. That's what we're seeing here. All right, we saw the trash and the stain. We saw here is an oil artifact. Haha. So if you see crap on the bottom of your oil dropper, don't shake it before you use it. Because if you shake it before you use it, this is what you find. Ruins a beautiful picture, right? So look how gorgeous the slide would have been. And I did this on purpose. This was something I took because I was like, oh, let me show them the trash and the oil. Okay, so don't shake it. I know that we are always about reconstituting before we analyze. I'm always all about that with my students, but there are some situations where you don't want to do that, and this would be one of them. And then, have you all seen the video where I talk about how to properly take the oil off a slide before storing it? You blot it. You don't scrub it, because this is what happens. Okay, if you scrub it, guess what happens? You get a line through your peripheral blood smear. And then when you're trying to do counts or whatever the case may be, you're like, what? What happened here? And you can even see some of the layer of the cells is torn and overlapped right here. I had some very good pictures of all of those, but I thought this one was the nicest one. So you don't want this scenario either. So if you want to remember how to do it right, go back to this slide. Okay. So we are done with the tutorial part. Let's look at who played today or this week. Sorry. So we've got a lot of great teams here, and some of them are bigger than others. Some of them are really, really big. So we've got lovely situations here. When I first started putting them on the slide, I was putting them by region, and then it got too crazy. So then I thought, hey, I'll mash them all up. And so you all are really in the selfie picture with the red cell. Here's my students over here, cell bowling, cell bowling it out. We've got other students. I'm sorry, I did not put who's who down on notes because I was stressing on really getting all this done. This is Moraine Technical College MLT Club. I'm just going to shout out, they look like a fun group. Look at the sky. You know, and we've got some funniness over here. This girl is just laughing at everybody. She's like, what did I get myself into? And it's just ridiculousness. I'm enjoying, I really enjoyed that picture. So we've got a lot of great teams and really a variety of size of teams and locations. So just making sure I'm getting everybody on the video here. Erin, did you want to add anything? There's our winners from last year. Yeah, we're getting to you. We're getting to you. There's a lot of people here. I'm just trying to let everybody take it in. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So Erin was trying to outdo me with team pictures because you haven't seen my team picture yet, but it was on Twitter. And he enlisted some help from a friend who did an awesome job on their team photo. But I can't wait to show you mine whenever we get to the CSM highlight. We weren't in the first week yet, so we'll wait to see. And you weren't in the first week yet either, so we'll be putting that picture out for the program spotlights when we get to ours. So proud of everybody. Really thankful for everyone who's been participating. Do not be discouraged. We got a lot of great stuff happening all throughout the time. Next week is when we start to do the perfect score international event where we're handing out medical lab lady Gill swag. So stay tuned for that. Make sure that all of you 17 from the East and 10 from the Midwest and 2 from the West. Make sure you're putting those perfect scores that beat my perfect score time in the international event so we can get you some prizes as well. So we're so excited to have you here. Everybody's doing an amazing job. We're rooting for all of you. I am so excited to see who's going to take it this year. I have no idea who it's going to be. It's anybody's game, and we're just in week 1. So any last closing words, Erin? Let's Cell Bowl. Yeah. I'm ready. I think you are too. So yeah, everybody's killing it. I did not expect to see those amazing scores this year, or just the week 1. I could not believe it. All right, so we got the kinks out, if there were any, because it didn't seem like there were many kinks. So let's go ahead and make week 2 even better. We already passed the 30-second mark, didn't we? We did, because there were 29 seconds. It's insane. Yeah, I don't know what to put the gauntlet down for. Would it be 15 seconds? So if anybody breaks 15 seconds, you get that hematology backpack, I guess. I mean, like, I'll throw that out there. Last year it was 30 seconds, wasn't it? And now we've just passed 30 like it's nothing. I don't know how they're doing it. So if any program director, faculty member, or student, if you are passing 30 seconds, I would like to see a video of you actually doing it, because I don't know how you're doing this. Like, how can you move your fingers that fast? So if you do make that video, I would love to see it. I'll reshare it on Twitter and everything. We would love to see it. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure that you're using the hashtag CellBowl2022 in any of your postings. We will repost. We're so excited to really put information out there about all the programs and the players of the programs out there. We want the world to know about you all, and we want to know how we want to share with prospective students, how is it that you become a medical laboratory scientist or a medical laboratory technician? Okay, because we need you, we love you, and we can't wait to have you in our programs. So please support your local programs. Please share all of this in social media. Make sure you tell your institutions that your teams are playing, and work with your marketing department to get all this information out there. We want to be loud and proud, because we are very proud. All right. Thank you so much for joining us this first episode of Cell Bowl 2022. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye, everyone.